And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this blast is all about varnishes. And you're going to say, oh no, not about varnishes again. Well, let me just show you I'll show you the varnishes I use, how, and more importantly, a product that is just revolutionary in putting varnishes on pastels and watercolors and charcoals. Can you imagine that? Yeah, so let me show you what I do. Let's get going here. So I put a varnish on everything, including pastels and watercolors and acrylic paints and everything. And here's what I used to use, okay? And at the very beginning, I used to always use this wonderful product, Golden's polymer varnish with UVLS. And of course, you can decide if you want it to be glossy, satin, or semi-gloss, or even matte, all right? Wonderful stuff. I've used it my whole painting career. Then I discovered something a little less expensive at the hardware store. So it's a water-based, it's made by Minwax. It says polyacrylic, so that's good enough for me. And when I put it on, by the way, I put it on with a softer and a different brush. And this is what they look like. They almost look like Cheap Joe's pseudo sables. Really soft, nothing hard, no horsehair, soft, like a watercolor wash brush. And I keep them just for putting on this varnish. Now the most important thing is probably this. You stir it. Do not shake it. You all have a habit of shaking. It creates bubbles. So don't shake it up and down, right? Just stir it, take your time. This is not a race. Breathe. Make sure there are no interruptions during this process. So it looks kind of milky, so don't be afraid. It will dry optically clear. All of these will dry optically clear with a different sheen. Don't use a spray can. I'm over here in California, so I'm real concerned about the ozone layers and all that other stuff. So I don't want to spray any of this stuff into the air. Okay, so it has a propellant in it. So they've added propellant to some of the good stuff. I don't use this, I brush it on. But what if I can't brush it on? Like some of those softer finishes I was talking about. Well, here comes a miracle product that I've been using forever. Guess what? It's a fixative that you spray on. See the spray pump there? There it is. And you'll see the picture of a cow. So guess what it is? It's milk. It's milk, which is casein. And casein is milk without whey. It's so healthy. They even have a little rainbow in there for you. Okay, so it's non-toxic. It's not going to leave an odor. And this is the only spray, which is a pump spray. No batteries or anything like that. It's fantastic. It sends out a beautiful mist. And that's important. And that's what I really wanted to show you on this next piece. So I'm going to do a demo of how I use this on top of things like watercolors and those ink pencils. You'll love it. And also charcoals. I use it on everything. Fixative, and it's waterproof. It's fantastic stuff. Hey, let me do a demo. So here's a sketch using the Derwent ink tense blocks and also the pencils. Great for sketching. Here we go. And no water. Here we go. So they feel like pastels. They act like pastels. And I'm just going to sketch lightly all over the whole place here. Nice. Get some energy going up in here. Whew. These blocks You can see they act like a pastel, but not really. Now the pencils are beautiful too. And the whole purpose of these types of pencils is that eventually you will wet it. And that's when it turns into like a watercolor. But for this demo, I just wanted to let you see that. Wow, nice. Whew. I love sketching, especially all over the whole place, right? I just like my pencils just fling all over the place. There we go. So those are the blocks, and they are water soluble, but you don't have to use water. This is when I come in and use the Spray Fixative, all right? And here's the cool thing. If you can see this, it sends out a nice fine mist. Look at that. You just squeeze this hand out. Cool design, isn't it? And now here's the most important part. Light mists. You see how much I put on there? And that's really the point of this whole blast. Light mist. Let it dry. It has no additives to this casein, so it has to air dry. So it doesn't speed up the drying time like in those spray cans. That's why I don't use them. So this is pure casein, and just mist, maybe give it 1 or 2 minutes, just like that, 2 minutes in between. Let it dry. Otherwise, what I have seen some of us using, they take this and they just pour it right on, thinking it's going to give it more protection. The problem with that, of course, now it starts to bleed all over the place, right? You put on too much. So important that you have patience, which is hard for me to do, patience, and you mist it. That's why it automatically has that mist. Don't have to shake it or anything like that. Great stuff. So it's the only stuff I use on all of my acrylics, my pastels, my charcoals, and let me show you a couple of more of these, okay? Remember, don't use a brush on top of your pastels and charcoals. You know this stuff. Okay, this is what I do at the end of the day. I line them all up, and I use my fixative mist. They get richer right away. I'll wait a couple of minutes. You see? It is not bleeding. And these are those pencils, Derwent Inktense pencils. And if I sprayed it too much, it would just bleed all over the place. Again, that's the point. One more time, a minute has gone by. I give it a little bit of a mist. See, even the paper buckles up a little bit. That means that's right, that's correct. This is just sketch paper. It is not 300-pound paper. Now what I wanted to show you on this one was that this has everything. Everything. This is my acrylics, my pastels, my watercolors, the blocks, everything combined. So I really can't touch it with a brush. So you can see the advantage of this wonderful fixative made by Spectrafix. Hey, I hope this solves some of your problems there. When it puddles up too much and starts to bleed, be gentle, be kind with it. Take your time, breathe, take a deep breath, and relax those shoulders. I'll see you on the next BobBlast.